Welcome to Americana 1. I'm Ken Paulson, and today we have a very special guest, our good friend Bill Lloyd, singer-songwriter, former member of Foster and Lloyd, a pop music impresario, puts out albums, produces them, writes songs. He does all of that and still finds time to share this interview with us here on Zoom, a historic day in the history of Americana 1. So glad to see you, Bill.
Nice to see you too, Ken. It's nice to see anybody these days, right?
Yeah.
So but it's especially nice to see you.
It's that special time of the year we call quarantine. And we're sitting here. But the good news is we don't have other distractions. We can talk about the brand new Bill Lloyd live album, which has a title I cannot pronounce. It's just a series of letters apparently written by the CIA. Can you crack this code for us?
I can crack the code for you, Ken. It's like a license plate. It's 2GTRSBSDRMS, 2 guitars, bass, drums. And that's and the reason why it's called that is because the record is a live in the studio record that I made at Blackbird Academy with the students over there. It looks like this. It looks, if you can hold that up to the camera to see that, looks like a paper bag over the album, very much like the old record Who Live at Leeds. But the lettering is like a license plate. It says Bill Lloyd and the Tallymen, and that's the band I've been playing with for years now. Live at Blackbird Academy, and we went in over there and played for the students. And I might need to get, seeing how I'm getting older, I need to. This is not good, is it? This isn't good graphics, is it? Me holding up one of these.
It's high drama. Will he ever?
It's high drama.
Yeah.
But anyway, what I was going to say though is that they have a Jonathan Bright mixed all this, but the great Dave Thoner, who worked on 1 million records, that if you looked him up in All Music Guide, you'd find his name all over the place. He was in charge of the students the day we did this. So we had this legendary guy in the studio with us. And I just ran down a bunch of songs that this band that I've been playing with for a while learned. And so it ended up having this really good sounding world-class studio, world-class band. And I'm telling myself, these are world-class songs. At least I'm telling myself that. And they need to be heard. So that's why yet another record.
So tell me about the Tallymen. Who are the players?
Well, the Tallymen, I put that together when I put out this record called Boy King of Tokyo, 2012. And that came right on the heels of Foster and Lloyd's reunion record called It's Already Tomorrow. And I'd been playing with Keith Brogdon on drums and Mike Vargo. I knew Mike from the Shazam. Keith had played with Bobby Bear Jr., so I knew both those guys, but we were playing together with Radney on the road for that album. And so they just morphed over into my band. And the great Pat Buchanan, who I've been writing songs with for years, he's a world-class session guy. He's played with everybody from Cameo and Hall & Oates to Cyndi Lauper. He's out with Amy Grant these days, and he's just a phenomenal talent.
Yeah, I don't see enough of Pat, but I always can count on him on stage at the Ryman with Vince Gill and Amy Grant.
Yeah, he's had that job for a while, and he shines. So anyway, well, this record was put together from this session, and many of the songs are from that Boy King of Tokyo record.
So is something added to the material on Boy King of Tokyo? If you have that album, is it still something you'd recommend to your fans?
Yeah, I mean, I think what happens is that the songs get stripped down into that 2 guitars, bass, drums thing. So it has a little more rock, or R-A-W-K, rock, oomph to it, and it has just a little more of a driving feel. And then there's some songs on there from my Set to Pop album, Trampoline, that I co-wrote with Greg Trooper, Turn Me On, Out of the Picture is on Set to Pop, and then Turn Me On Dead Man, that was on the Standing on the Shoulders of Giants album I wrote with Bill DeMaine. So those songs are also on this record. But mostly they're from that Boy King of Tokyo record.
Are they all single take?
No. There was a couple that we did a couple times, but we were laughing a lot throughout the whole thing. So it doesn't reek of being studied at all. It really is. Pat plays a different solo every time he plays with me, so he rarely plays the same solo twice, and it always gets me giggling when he does something great.
Does that mean Pat can never remember the solo?
Well, I think he likes to be different every time. Brad Jones, a producer here in town who I work with all the time, he calls Pat's solo, the way Pat ends his solos with just getting just the right ending to it. When you just don't think he's going to get out of it, he pulls it off like a magic trick, and Brad calls it the Houdini dismount when Pat finishes the solo. So anyway.
What song on the new album do you get a particular rush out of playing live?
Wow, I like them all, but Turn Me On Dead Man's always been one we've always had fun with, because we've of course quoted the Beatles, Helter Skelter, and the Turn Me On is from the Beatles, obviously, and also Out of the Picture is a great one, and in terms of it's much more aggressive than on the original record. So yeah, these are all things that we have a big time with. A lot of fun.
So I know you're a rabid record collector.
Yeah.
I thought it was great that Feeling the Elephant, one of your earliest works, has alternate covers, right?
It was released twice. It was first on a Boston label, or just north of Boston, Northampton, I think. But it was on Throbbing Lobster Records out of Massachusetts in 1980. Well, the deal came in 85, but the record wasn't released till 86, just before Foster & Lloyd's first album. And then it got re-released a few years later by DB Records out of Atlanta.
Well, it would be so much like a record collector to make sure that their first album had alternate pressings and.
Well, if we survive this whole place where we're at right now, I'm going to put out a third version of Feeling the Elephant with a bonus disc, because I've got lots of outtakes, and I've had some people say they would like that. So, yeah.
So does the new album have your protest song, "The Fix Is In"? Is that on this record?
Yeah, that song, I know it sounds like a protest in a way, because, but it's really just written from a character who is not a nice person, who's telling people that their feelings, that their voice doesn't count. And it was written a long time ago, back in 2010, maybe 2011. And it was recorded for that Boy King of Tokyo record. And then this version is really raw. And the solos, talk about Pat Buchanan again, just amazing on this. And there's actually a video on this that it's very European. It's not American. It shows a lot of, I don't know if they're celebrations or demonstrations, but in Europe, all the sort of political things, and it fits the lyric very well. So it's a lyric video.
Well, this deeply cynical song, I view it as a protest song, because it's just like, Randy Newman's Rednecks.
It is very much like that.
It makes the political point in the, in a less obvious way.
Thank you. Well, thank you. Yeah.
But that was during the era of Bush and Cheney.
Right.
And, I hear we have another president, and you got it out there again. Does that mean that emotion, that message you're sending, just transcends presidencies?
Well, I just think that unfortunately, I think the Buddhists have it right. Yin yang, dark light, good bad. That circle with the curving line. And I think there are times that are light and there are times that are dark. and we are just in another one of those dark times right now. And I'm trying to keep zen about it.
I can
trying to
see
keep
you. Yeah.
trying to keep real zen about it, but it's tough, you know. And
Yeah,
this song does unfortunately fit the times.
yeah. Well, it's really not a partisan song at all. It's
No,
about
really, it's not. But it is about someone trying to limit people's voices,
right.
or at least talk them into thinking that they don't matter.
People in power embracing corruption and all that, and that's been around a very, very long time.
Yeah, and unfortunately, it comes and goes, you know.
So,
But,
so that's good news. New album, live album, available where?
well, it's available in Nashville at your local record stores here. Whenever we can get back out to Go Records, but it is available through my website at billoydmusic.net. I've got 4 L's right there in a row: BILLLLOYD at music.
You never actually get email, do you? Because nobody can figure out.
Yeah, a lot of stuff gets lost in the ether. And then I've got yet another record that's coming out. Can I talk about that for a minute?
Yeah, and I don't know if it's a new solo record.
It's another solo record.
This is breaking news.
Yeah, and it's I'm working on it now. I want to show you the cover. It's called "Don't Kill the Messenger."
No one else has ever seen this, right? This is
right. This is the first time right here.
Wow. Okay.
And that's going to be the cover. And that apartment right there is on that's one of the main drags in Bowling Green, Kentucky.
Oh.
That's my old apartment. And there's a psychic that moved in there. And I thought, oh, I have to take a picture of this. And then when I had that picture, I thought, what a great picture for "Don't Kill the Messenger," you know.
And did the psychic predict sales numbers? Or?
I did not go in. I should have gone in because they're not there anymore. Yeah. It's already moved. They've already moved on. But anyway, that's going to come out sometime this year.
2020.
Rather soon, yeah. Rather soon, though.
Well, we've talked about, as collectors, have talked about prolific artists, people who just put out record after record after record. It seems to suit you.
I've been busy the last few years because I just sort of see I've got a lot of music in me and a whole lot of songs recorded, and I don't know, I just really I used to wait 4 or 5 years between an album, and I just don't feel like I have that kind of time anymore. I need to keep going while I have the time, and while I'm feeling well and doing well, and and while the impetus, I still feel like the muse is pulling me. I still write all the time, even if there's nothing to do with it. I still feel the impetus to write.
Well, we're the beneficiaries of that creativity. Those of you who have been intrigued by Bill's description of his new album, go to any record store, as he says, in Nashville. Don't even bother to try to give them the name. Just say it's at Tan One, the Tan album from Bill Lloyd.
The Tan album.
They'll set you up with that, and then
it does have a tan thing to it.
You just need,
there it is.
Need serial numbers though if you're going to emulate the White album.
Well, yeah, it's like part Who Live at Leeds, part Two Virgins, part White Album.
So let's have this conversation again when the new album comes out, and maybe we can get you to play at that time. It was really hard to put the band right there in your. Is that your study you're sitting in right now?
This is the messiest office in the world.
Okay.
You can see books behind me back there. A lot of books, a bunch of CDs, and a lot of papers everywhere. You'd think this time at home there would have been like, I would have gone, hey, I can clean that up.
They tell me that they're right now in Nashville, the dumps are overflowing because everybody decided to clean that up. So by not doing it, you've actually done a public service.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. Yeah,
we appreciate your service.
I planned that, right?
Always a pleasure. Thank you, Bill.
What you got cooking in that pretty little head? Some kind of notion you can make a stand. Way too deep, you're gonna wind up dead. When the water starts rising, you want dry land. You're better off sticking to the shallow end. Forget about it now. take their orders like the rest of their kind. That opportunity's come and gone. We make the rules, we run the spin. Nothing you can do now, the fix is in. It's a bitter pill you got to swallow. Take a few and share them with your friends. Tell them it was never worth the bother when you finally find out. When you finally find out, the fix is in. Never seem to slow you down. Baby, get ready for a bumpy ride. You're gonna wish you stayed underground. Got a little smarter and joined our side. Learned to pick a team that's gonna play to win. Nothing you could do now, the fix is in. The fix is in. The fix is in. Fix is in.